People like us, who doesn't know much about the religion and wants to learn, we watch someone like Mansour and we learn about the religion. And when we hear someone slandering and connecting them with terrorism, it's really bad.
So what does he actually say that's slandered? When you say slander, slander's a very interesting legal word.
He has read it. So can you tell us what was slanderous
What was
about
the
it?
slanderous bit? No, I'm asking you, what bit is slanderous? You're saying it's slanderous. I'm asking
He linked
you.
Mansour to terrorism.
How?
He linked him. How did he link him to terrorism? What exact words did he link him to terrorism?
Why?
No. I'm taking on, but we're having a conversation. I'm saying, what parts was he actually slandering? What actual words did he use that slanders
Can you
Mansour?
tell Mr. Paul to elaborate on?
No, I want to know. No, you are making the accusations. I want
saying
you
the word
to
slander
explain.
is a
I don't have
very
to justify
legal
myself.
I understood
I want
that
you to
from
say.
your vlog that I've read, and now you're saying I didn't understand it. Would you please elaborate this? I'm asking you personally now.
I've already had a conversation about an hour ago. I said that your accusations were false and wrong. So I've already had this conversation with you earlier on. We did.
You said the same thing.
No, we did.
What you said
And because
now,
you kept on
and you
repeating the
ran.
accusations,
I just wanted to know
I just
what
walked
was
off.
in the vlog.
Well, what's the connection
Explain
between
that
Mansour
in
and
the
the
vlog.
terrorists?
I want
Explain-
you
All right, do you want me to read it? I'll read it out to you again. He didn't. He didn't. He did. He did have to speak up.
He comes to the park.
He did have to speak up.
He talks, he gives that one, and he does what he does. You get me? He's been doing that for the past 20 years probably. So why are you trying to get him into some MR5 work? The police are doing their job. Get me?
Well, you're very.
That's the problem.
So if you don't agree with that,
Shall I read you the article again? Shall I read you the article again? I'll tell you what I thought about Mansour and others, yeah? I'll read you the article. Do you want to hear?
Slander's an issue in law, so
It does look it bad, yeah. Just make him look bad.
So why did you do that maliciously?
I didn't do that. He did it.
That maliciously.
How can you know? I'll read you the article. Are you okay for me to read the article so you can know exactly?
He's got a family.
Let me answer now. Let me read you the
no,
article.
you made your point, which I respect. Leave me on to
Now,
it.
I'll read it to you the article, and I
mean,
stand
you
by
wrote the
every
article,
word,
so no.
and you can tell me how I'm slandering someone. Now, this article was written on the 10th of November, which is last Tuesday, and I posted it on bloggingtheology.com, which is the blogging... December, beg your pardon, last week, blogging that I run and own and write for. So, great news, I say. The man we know as Abu Kassim, a regular at Speaker's Corner in London for over 10 years, was, at 2:15 p.m. this afternoon, convicted under the Terrorism Act of 4 charges of disseminating terrorist material, one of possessing articles useful for terrorism. The trial took place at London's most famous court, the Old Bailey in London. His real name is Mohammed Abdul Ahad, 38, of Euston, London. You may recognise him. And I put here a photograph of our good friend Abu Kassim, who we all know from here. He was here last week on Sunday. He was found guilty on all counts by unanimous jury decision. Abu Kassim is now facing significant jail time for spreading speeches of convicted Islamist preacher and notorious terror recruiter Sheikh Abdullah Al Faisal.
So basically, he uploaded a video before ISIS even came about in 2012.
Can I finish?
Starring on what?
Can I finish?
He made a mistake. But you didn't.
This is to do with a court
Sorry,
case.
you've not heard my article.
This
You've
was an
not.
Old Bailey trial. Yeah, this was an Old Bailey
Can you
trial.
listen to my evidence before
He
you
was
pass
tried and
judgment?
convicted. He was tried and convicted. Who he's talking about?
So just to continue, so I'm talking about the. Yeah, would you let me? Excuse me, I'm talking. You're interrupting. We're talking about the Sheikh Abdullah Al Faisal. The published speeches. This is what so-called Abu Kassim published. Glorified terrorist organisations, including ISIS and Al Qaeda, and encouraged listeners to commit or prepare for acts of terrorism. Matthew Brooke, the barrister for the prosecution, stated that the published speeches amounted to terrorist publications as they praised terrorist organisations such as ISIS and encouraged listeners to support those terrorist organisations and encouraged both terrorist action and violent jihad. They encouraged others to commit or prepare acts of terrorism. The videos stated that this is the videos that Abu Kassim put up, stated that it's compulsory for true Muslims to participate in jihad and kill non-believers so that they could take their place in hell, quote unquote. They also spoke of children as young as 12 making improvised explosive devices, IEDs. Now, I understand from contacts within the Old Bailey that when he was taken down, Special Branch were waiting to talk to him about other terrorist offences. He is now remanded in custody in the high-security Belmarsh prison until sentencing at a later date. I thank God that this scumbag is now off the streets of London. And then I say, when I get more information about the trial, I'll make it known, but blah, blah. And then the next section of my article is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Speaking the good, this is actually, you should know this, it's a Clint Eastwood film, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, spaghetti western. That's where I got the title from. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Speaking now, I write, from a purely Speaker's Corner perspective, here are my thoughts about the bigger picture. But this is the guy who wanted me to... Why is he gone? It's interesting, isn't it? This is the guy who caused me a slander.
I don't understand. What's the issue?
And wanted me to... Yeah, but my article is, what's the slandering? Well, he's the guy who accused me of it.
So what is he slandering?
Where's the slander?
Right.
Where's the slander? Oh, you're back now.
Right. Yeah. What is your right? Your issue is about Mansour, yeah? About these.
Okay. Well, I'll come to that.
No, not the slander on the fact that this is a true trial case.
Well, the trial and stuff, the police done their job, innit? Yeah?
Didn't Sheikh Faisal get arrested for those videos in the 90s?
What we can learn from it...
No. Abdul Hakim Mohammed Ahad was convicted at the Old Bailey last week, and he was sent down. He's gone to Belmarsh. He will be sentenced in January.
I think we should do a case study, innit? Don't you think we should do a case study?
Shall I continue my article?
Who should do a case study? They've done the case study. They've already done the trial. It's finished. The jury's already found him guilty.
About the case and learn from the case, innit?
That's why I wrote the article.
That's what they're doing.
That's why I wrote the article, so we can review what happened here at Speakers and find out who did what and who
at the
failed.
moment, he's just quoting the facts of the case. He's quoting the facts of the case so far. Okay? I'm trying to work out where the slander is, but at the moment that's the case.
Mansour is a doctor.
But that's not a slander against
not a
Abu
doctor.
Kassim because that's what happened to him. Yeah.
I know him very well. You don't. So coming to the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, speaking purely from a Speaker's Corner perspective, here are my thoughts about the bigger picture. The good guys. And I show here a picture, Shamsi on the left, refuting convicted terrorist Abu Kassim recently at Speaker's Corner. There's Shamsi, there's Abu Kassim. Are you still interested? So the good guys, these are without doubt the Salafis. Yes, really, I write. Shamsi and his colleagues from DUS Dawah, they're based in Shepherd's Bush. They have fearlessly confronted the violent extremists at the park. Abu Kassim, Bilal, Suleiman, Abdul Hakim, and all the others. All of these are known associates of the godfather of UK terrorism, Anjem Chowdhury.
Shut up, you bastard!
He's so upset his jihadi brothers in prison.
They are all extremely dangerous men. All of these people.
Why do you support Darren Osborne?
I don't. Do you support?
You
Abu
support
Kassim?
from Tommy Robinson.
Do you
From
support
Tommy
Abu
Robinson,
Kassim?
you support Darren Osborne.
Film.
You really? All of these men except Suleiman are banned from
I don't know yet. I think they're going to do it next month.
He was here last
Yeah.
Shamsi
It'll be like 2 or
has
3 years.
refused
Did you
to
hear
be
what your
friends
friend
with
said?
these-
Braden,
with
the other
these
day, he said
guys.
your skin is like the colour of my shit. That's what your friend Braden said. Okay, sorry, my attention's back.
Why can't you focus? I'm doing this for you.
This
not for
pigeon stinks, man.
Well, it's probably best not to say anything so I can at least finish this, and then we can
I get distracted by the
start
smell.
slagging each other off if you want. Anyway, Shamsi has always refused to be friends with these guys or hang out with them. He has publicly disassociated himself from them and explained openly and clearly how their evil ideology is condemned by the Quran and the Sunnah. He is a role model for Muslims everywhere. The bad guys. And it's one example. There are other people other than Mansour I could have picked, but I mentioned one. These are Muslims who have at one time or other either refused to join in the fight against terrorist ideology at Speaker's Corner, or worse still, have deliberately put obstacles in the path of those Muslims committed to the fight against this evil. I will name names for the record. Mansour Akbar here.
Slander,
He is
man.
here.
That's slander.
Well, I haven't said anything yet, have I? I couldn't even tell you I haven't said anything yet.
You said they refuse of.
Let me explain. A well-known and high-profile
When they
Muslim.
come here for to give dawah, talk about Christianity.
Are you ready?
Debate.
A well-known and high-profile Muslim who is famous on YouTube for refuting Christians and atheists at the park. Just over a year ago, when I became alarmed at ISIS activists at the park, I decided to call Abdul Hakim out. I challenged him on camera, just over there. As a result, I received a huge amount of criticism and abuse, actually, from many Muslims for my actions.
Do you see what your friend teaching does?
I'm finished.
But this teaching bastard distracting everything.
But do you mind just ignoring him then if he's calling instruction? Just focus, ignore him.
He's shitting everywhere, man.
Just a few more minutes and then you can have a go at each other. As a result, I received a huge amount of criticism from many Muslims for my actions, which I was told contradicted certain hadith. I invited Mansour to join me in my public campaign to expose the extremists in our midst, who at that time was Abdul Hakim mainly. He refused point blank. It had nothing to do with him, he said, and he didn't want to get involved. Raj, you've already...
How old are you?
Raj,
For God's sake, you're 50 years old, man.
Raj, see what you...
50-year-old bastard, man.
If I could just finish. I pleaded with him to use... He refused point blank. He had nothing to do with him, he said, and he didn't want to get involved with confronting them. I pleaded with him to use the moral authority he possessed to refute these dangerous people publicly and by name, as I had attempted to do, but to no avail. Mansour was happy to condemn terrorism in theory, but not lift a finger to confront the real propagators of terrorist ideology at the park.
Why do you think that's his job?
I haven't finished. That's the problem. Can I finish? You can criticise me all you like. No, I'm presenting my argument. I was appalled. Mansour and I were good friends. I used to know him very well. This incident destroyed our friendship, which it has, unfortunately. Last Sunday, he finally joined forces with Adnan and a few others in confronting Abu Kassim. You can see it on YouTube. But it was too little, too late, for obvious reasons. Now, I do mention another guy, which I'm not going to go into, about a website. That's the relevant bits you were getting upset about. So where is the slander?
What?
Just on a...
You go on, man.
Just
What
on
do you
a...
think?
No, because I really don't want to take sides.
I like your thing. What do you think?
Thank you.
Nice. Sorry.
But
Do you
just
think
on
anything there was slander?
just so that I'm gonna try play devil's advocate here, and I'm
No,
trying not to.
I don't want you to play the devil. I want you to give me your honest view.
no worries.
I don't know you. But
So
just
I
give me
think
your
honest
view.
devil.
I don't want you to play the devil.
no,
We've got enough devils down here as it is.
I think one of the biggest problems with this whole scenario and how it's gone about is the problem is we have people who've. Go. No, take your time.
That is my blog. Yeah. Sorry, you were saying about.
I think we have
Yeah.
quite a big problem with guilty by association. Something that's slightly, I guess, been questioned in the past, particularly in this park's corner, or just the corner, the history of this park when it comes to questioning certain ideologies, and Islam is not exempt from that. My question is, just from reading from hearing what you read, do you believe, although I don't disagree with you, do you believe that it's Mansour's place, but furthermore then your place to necessarily kind of call Mansour out on something that he may not really want to have part in?